So the 2.2 livestream just launched, and they basically gave us our first look on Thoma, who's like a super cool character. He's potentially going to be one of the best pyro supports in the game due to his off-field pyro application and his shield giving capabilities. The thing is, he's going to need to stand up to characters like Xiangling that already exist in the game and are considered the strongest. In this video, we're going to explore the information that miHoYo gave us about Thoma during the livestream, and then do some analysis on how Thoma might actually fit into the game today. The first thing that comes to my mind when I hear about his kit is that he seems like a mix of Zhongli and Xingqiu, except that he's pyro. His shields will scale off of HP, and his damage also scales off of HP. Without doing much thinking, we can all probably conclude that the Homa will be his best in slot if you're trying to squeeze out as much damage as you can and also provide HP to his shields, because in the passive of the Homa, it does give you extra HP. After the Homa or any other 5-star spears that you could get your hands on that other characters you have don't need, I'd recommend weapons like the Blackcliff and the Deathmatch, which are great options for dealing lots of damage. The Dragon's Bane is going to be an amazing option, especially when you're using him for vaporized teams. The Elemental Mastery and its passive both contribute to creating lots more damage, and therefore it's a weapon that you definitely don't want to sleep on if you have it. It usually shines at higher refinements, and so above R2 or R3 is definitely a spot where I'd consider using it over some of the classical weapons like the Blackcliff and the Deathmatch. After that, if you are missing any of those, then you can consider Energy Recharge Spears. That'll help get his ultimate back up and make him a lot more consistent. The classical great option that works for most characters, such as Zhongli or Xiangling, would be the Favonius Lance, which has a great and consistent passive for gaining more particles, along with tons of energy recharge as the secondary stat, boasting a high base attack. The new Khitan Cross Spear boosts elemental skill damage, and because Thoma creates a shield for his E skill, this might not actually be the best option for him. Lastly, the Catch is the god tier 4-star spear that seems to be the best in slot for any support who is looking to maximize their burst damage potential. Comparing Thoma to Xiangling, I would presume that he is going to provide a little bit less damage than her due to his shielding capabilities, and Xiangling being more focused around a pure damage output. The main stats that we will likely see for Thoma will be something like a crit rate, pyro damage bonus, and HP percent for the Sands, if you're looking to capitalize on both his damage and his shield. Otherwise, switching the Sands to an attack percent might also be a better option for providing more damage if his HP scaling isn't high enough. Triple HP percent is also an option if you want to have the best shield possible. Similarities he has to Xingqiu are in the burst. Both characters' bursts will trigger on the activation of a normal attack when they're off the field. This is just one of the aspects that makes Xingqiu into the best pyro support in the game, due to allowing main DPS units easy and consistent access to reverse vaporize reactions. Now the only question is, who can Thoma currently support in the game? The only main DPS that is centered around Hydro currently is Childe, who infuses his normal attacks with Hydro in his E skill. The problem with using him with Thoma is that Childe would take the role of the Hydro applier due to his excessive Hydro application, and Thoma would be the one applying Pyro onto the Hydro in order to create the vaporize reaction. This team composition will likely shine in AoE situations, but on single target bosses it runs into the same problem that Xiangling has when paired with Childe. Xingqiu provides a better reaction timing for more consistent vaporize reactions, and also has all of his constellations geared towards increasing his damage along with providing off-field support. Due to this, national team compositions usually prefer Xingqiu over a Childe that we currently have. From the 3 other Hydro units that we have, Mona, Kokomi, and Barbara, You can only really capitalize off of using a DPS Barbara or a Mona doing charged attacks in order to have consistent reactions. The other people that we should look at are the cryo units. I'm going to put a list of the cryo units on the screen because we have a lot of them. From these, I believe the best options to use with Thoma are going to be Chongyun, Kaya, and Ganyu. We're going to have to see if Melt Ganyu is going to work the elemental application out correctly once he releases, but due to the nature of her arrows hitting twice, it might be hard to get the second one to melt consistently. Conversely, it also might work like a Hu Tao, who does a normal attack right before her charged attack. This helps proc Xingqiu's burst and makes a perfect reaction with the charged attack, because the burst takes off the pyro application of the first normal attack. If Ganyu functions in a similar way with Thoma, then we might see a god tier support for Melt Ganyu. The last thing I'd like to talk about is the potential that Thoma has with his shield giving capabilities. We already have lots of good shielders in the game, these being Noelle, Diona, and Zhongli. Most people are not going to switch out a Thoma for Zhongli, and Zhongli is extremely universal, working in almost every single team due to his rainbow resistance shred. But the one advantage that Thoma does have over Zhongli is that he's pyro, so he can help create the 2-piece pyro resonance effect, which is, I'd say, pretty sought after in most competitive teams. The unique thing about Thoma's shield is that it actually refreshes the durability of the shield every time his ultimate hits or his E skill is activated, and this can actually help us try to find a point where we have enough HP investment, because as long as it can more or less survive one hit and not break, then his ultimate's application should be able to recharge the shield to its maximum potential once again. The problem is that the Magukenki and certain bosses still hit extremely hard, and so if his shield is too weak and it just gets shredded completely, then this might not be so ideal. So in the end, we might have to choose between a hyper investment on his HP or a hyper investment on damage dealing. If his HP scaling with his damage is good enough, then we'll likely see builds that cater towards triple HP or 2 HPs and then a crit rate headpiece with really good substats, basically taking care of the rest of your stats. But Thoma seems like a super unique character, and we're going to need to wait until he's out or MiHoYo releases more official information before we can do further analysis on him and his team compositions. But I hope you're just as excited to see Thoma as I am, and hopefully you found this video informative and interesting, and I hope to see you in the next one. Thanks!